Cuervo. Cuervo.
No. Nope. Ask the people. They won't let me down. That you can give me all the crap you want about what's a better movie, but there is no question who would win in a fight. Who would win in a fight against the Duke of New York versus Cuervo Jones? No,
I mean,
question.
1-on-1, I'll give it to Duke of New York.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, no. No. Now, who's better at basketball?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I'll probably Duke of New York too.
Why? Why would you
Sir
pick Duke
Isaac
of New York?
He's from
Why
New York, the New York Knicks.
Oh, that the only reason?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Cuervo Jones, dude, the Duke of New York would eat that dude alive. Oh,
I love you, Duke.
no,
I mean, you're wrong about the escape movies, but I love you. So,
whatever.
right.
Whatever.
Welcome, gentlemen, ladies, and or anyone who's out there. I don't know who the fuck's watching right now, but welcome to the Saturday afternoon or evening, actually, by now. Geek Chat. Hey. Oh, there's Corey. Hey, Corey. Sorry, I thought I sent you a link earlier, and then I went and checked, and I was like, oh, fuck. Forgot to send you one. So, but anyway, welcome to it. We're here to talk about some geek shit today, just to shoot the shit, have some fun. But the first thing I wanted to do, actually, real quick, and this is for Duke, I wanted to show you something that I didn't know. I wasn't sure if you knew that these things existed or not. If you did, cool. But if you didn't, I wanted to show it to you. So I found, and I knew these was around, and I never thought about. I don't know why. It just never occurred to me to ask if you even knew that they existed. But you know Todd McFarlane and McFarlane Toys, right?
Very familiar.
Yeah. Did you know that they do full 7-inch scale Warhammer stuff?
Nope.
They do. That's cool. And they offer it in unpainted versions, so you can paint them the way you want.
Oh, that's sick.
That is.
And I've seen these before at GameStop and stuff. They even have some of the big battle orcs or whatever they're called that are fucking huge. They're like 12 inches tall.
Oh, that's cool.
I see them at GameStop all the time, and I know Target sells some of them. They sell some of the Space Marines, which I've thought about picking up a couple because they've got like red, blue, black. They've got some of the different Space Marines.
Yeah.
But then they also have Space Marines that are completely grayed out. So if you want to paint them yourself, you can. But they're like the big scale ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're fully articulated, just like a fucking modern action figure and all that shit.
Speaking from a terrain guy from Warhammer, that would be cool to build as a table build for even like a monument.
Yeah,
like you had your troops fighting in like a red square, and there's a monument of a guy on top. Like that would be pretty cool. But those are awesome looking. That would be fun to paint. Oh gosh, that would be fun to paint.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of them. No, go ahead.
I watched the first episode of She-Hulk last night.
You did, and what did we think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Did y'all get to see the after credits?
Yes,
I did. Yes, I did. So Captain America fucks.
Yes,
that was funny.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about that because I have thoughts on that show. But yeah, Duke, this is some of the ones they've got. Like they've got these dudes, and like I said, you can get them painted.
Oh yeah,
or unpainted.
Yeah, those are okay. So that's some Chaos Space Marines in the gold and black, and then there's an Ultramarine in blue. That's a Blood Angel in red. Those are all awesome looking.
Yeah, these dudes, these are the ones they sell at Target. These are the ones I see at Target were the blue and the red ones. Like these guys and these guys.
Are they already?
Why do they come? Why does the blue one come with a red head and the red one come with a blue head?
They're Assault Marines, and so it's just a color scheme. So an Assault Marine is a Marine with a chainsaw sword and a blaster pistol of some sort. So that's the origin of it. It's
okay, because I feel like if I had gotten these two, which I was looking at getting them, and the first thing I was going to do when I got home is swap their heads so that they match.
Yeah, I get it. It's a particular unit that follows those kind of color schemes. The best part about the whole Warhammer is you can create anything you want.
Yeah.
So there's a template, and then you could paint them all. I've seen all kinds of cool stuff of guys doing all kinds of lore with their units, and I was primarily Blood Angels, but I did my Salt Marines with blue hats, so it was cool.
Okay.
I think it'd be cool to get one of the gray ones and do like a battle worn, rusted out looking color scheme.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would look badass.
That would look so cool, and there's a whole bunch of battle war and stuff you could do to these guys. Bullet marks, scratches, all kinds of stuff on their armor.
Mhm.
Did that Space Marine game come out yet?
Not that I know of. I haven't seen it.
That's crazy because that's been like a year ago. I saw the trailer.
And then this dude, I don't know who this dude is.
Let me see.
Chick. She's got tits. I don't know who that is.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know any of these characters or what units they're with or any of that stuff, but they look fucking cool as shit.
They do.
How much are they?
They're like $20 a piece.
Oh, that's not bad.
$19.99.
That's crazy because Warhammer's unnaturally expensive.
Yeah.
So
Well, McFarlane is actually one of the few companies that keeps their prices like the same across the board. Like unless you get like a big deluxe figure or something like that, their retail price is $19.99 on everything. And these are, like I said, these are big 7-inch figures. So, but yeah, they got a bunch of shit out there. So, yeah, this is the orc I was telling you about, and he comes in a regular and an unpainted version. Is that an orc? What do you call those fuckers?
let me see.
I don't know what the fuck they're called.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's an orc.
Yeah, and he's like 12 inches tall. He's fucking huge. He comes in a big ass fucking box. Now he's like $40, but I see those damn things at GameStop all the time.
What is that to the right of him? Is that
That's
like
like
a weapon?
It's like his backpack. He clips onto his back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a steampunk looking backpack thing.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's got a Tesla coil or something attached to it.
Yeah, they're cool, man. I like I said, I don't know anything about Warhammer, but I've thought about picking some of these up just because they just look fucking cool. So, but I thought you would appreciate, Duke, that they come in these unpainted versions
That's
that you could like fucking do whatever you wanted to. So, how much do just regular Warhammer figures cost?
Okay, that's a bad question to ask. So it all is going to depend on the type of units you get, and the price model doesn't match anything. But I'll give you this: 5 Space Marines in a basic configuration are like $50-$60 now.
Jesus. Well, you could you could play with these motherfuckers.
It would be close. But... yeah, it's bad. And it's not as cool. I don't know. I tried to get back into it like 6 months ago and got into some stuff, and they changed a lot more. And you used to be able to get like 10 Marines for $40, and you had all of the options in the world to configure them. Yeah. And that ain't the way it is anymore. And it's really disappointing. They came kind of really set. There was set ways you had to build them. It's more expensive. That's disheartening. It's disheartening when it's just more and more money. But anyways, it's cool. I mean, it's still got hope in some of it. So we'll see.
Hey Matt, we got a rogue jolly coming in.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a couple people in the waiting room.
Oh shit, Achilles! What's up, Achilles?
What's going on, Achilles?
Ah, yes, it is I, Achilles.
Oh. Let me catch these super chats real quick. We got one. This one came in actually before we started chat. Tom F just said hi. Hello, Tom. What's up? How goes it? Thank you for the super chat. Another one here from California. EDC says hello, all here in Texas for the weekend, and fuel prices are over $2 a gallon cheaper than in California. That's not unusual at all.
Yeah, I know.
Texas is one of the what? Texas I mean, we usually tend to be slightly lower than the rest of the country. Whatever the average is, we're usually slightly under. It's because we have all the processing plants and shit here.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Gulf Coast state.
Yeah. So it's not, but yeah, it's a decent deal cheaper. Magnum 500 says, who's your favorite Walking Dead character? Mine is Daryl Dixon. Mine is a toss up. Okay. So Rick, I like Rick. I've always liked Rick. Rick's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not on the show anymore, although he's still alive. So I'll default to Rick, but right after Rick is Carol. because I think Carol
Carol's a
had
badass.
the best story arc of going from like the mom and wife that was abused by her husband to being the one that will just do what it takes, including shoot a little girl in the back of the head.
Yeah, look at the flowers.
So she's had a great story arc. I like Carol. Carol's a badass.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
I go back and forth. I mean, I've got to be honest. Negan's my favorite. I mean,
Negan's awesome
Negan,
too, isn't he?
Everyone pales in comparison to Negan, in my opinion. I mean, how heavy. I'd rather take everything back. I'd rather be on Team Negan than Rick's any day. If you want to like start over from the beginning, whose group are you more safe with? 1,000% you're more safe with Negan.
True.
Rick put his people through a lot because he failed to ever grip with reality of what the world was, and the only reason why Rick survived was plot armor. Okay, Rick doesn't survive without plot armor.
Well, you know what the thing is what I because in season 4 he did become that person.
Okay,
and he maintained that when he first got to Alexandria
and then
for a while.
Yeah,
because when he first, I mean, remember the shit he went through. Second half of season, but basically after they left the prison, all the way up until they end up in Alexandria over the course of like a season and a half.
Yeah,
like he just starts to become more and more and more that type of person that will do whatever is needed to keep himself and his family and his friends and his community alive. And he was turning into fucking badass Rick.
Yep.
And even like we talked about this before, that even Negan says, I wouldn't want to fuck with that Rick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's
like what happened to that guy?
Yeah.
And that was like true alpha Rick,
Yep.
And but then he got complacent at Alexandria and all that stuff. And then he kind of started sliding again, and then it would pop back up every so often when it needed to, you know what I mean? Or not even when it needed to, but it would pop back every so often.
When him and Morgan killed those dudes in that barn with Negan's dudes.
Yeah.
They're like, give us some guns, we'll work together. And they just they murdered them all.
Yeah.
That was good. That's what we needed to see a lot more. I mean, because at that point, like, why are you taking prisoners? Why are you saving? Like, you should kill all these guys. Negan was more into that, and I think that's why my favorite character is Negan. I got problems with him here or there, but like, that's why I under anyone's regime, I don't want to be in Terminus. I'm not eating people. I don't want to be with the governor. That dude had like mental issues.
Yeah.
No, definitely Team Negan, 100%. So
see, for me, it's a toss-up between Carol, Daryl, and Morgan. I relate more personally with Daryl, just because that's kind of who I am.
Redneck meth dealer.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I think Morgan became a badass too.
Morgan was fucking great.
Yeah.
I've always liked Morgan. I liked Morgan in the first episode he was in. I liked him when he was fucking crazy clear Morgan, which by the way I don't know why not everybody, maybe without quite the crazy that Morgan had at that time, but it's understandable why he did. That clear mentality is what people should have been doing. It is clear them out.
Mm-hmm.
We're still alive. And even if everybody left on the planet over the course of a year killed 100 walkers, there would be no more fucking walkers other than when people just died died from whatever, right?
Yeah.
You would clear off all the walkers. I mean, even if there's only 1% of the population fucking left, right? Mm-hmm. Then in a year, if just every person killed 100 fucking walkers, they would all be gone. Like that mentality, it is the one criticism of Walking Dead in general, comic books, TV show, whatever, is the one main criticism I've had is that why don't they do this? Why don't they understand what it should be simple? Wouldn't you, especially once you started to build communities, you would go out and you would start taking out walkers. Like you would send out patrols to take out walkers to slowly start clearing them out. Like that's what you would fucking do. Right?
Like methodical. You could do it very safe and very efficiently, but you would just get like 100 dudes and with 10-22s and stacks of ammo and getting like a square formation.
Yep.
It's like the whole it's how World War Z handled it. It's like what they did. Remember you read in the book what they would do, and they would just get online and they would be like 4 guys deep, and the guy would just unload 10-22 until he couldn't, and he would get pulled off the line if he missed more than one shot, and they would like cycle him in, and that's how they killed like millions of walkers.
Great fucking book, by the way. Like that, if you've never read World War Z, the book, not the movie. I like the movie, but it is not the same thing as the book. I do like the movie. It's a fun movie.
Oh, yeah. It's not. It's
the game is also fun.
Yes. But it's not the book. The book is great. If you've never read this book, it is probably the best zombie story I've ever seen, because it is told in a way in which would make sense, right? Like it's told in a way in which does make for a good book, but nobody in the book has plot armor. There's, nobody there doesn't seem to be any, like we're talking about now, there doesn't seem to be this like any plot holes that don't make sense from the point of the humans, right? Or the characters that it's focusing on. They all do the things that you would sit here and, like when people go to movies and they yell at the fucking screen, do this, do that, run, whatever the fuck it is, right? Like you don't find yourself doing that in the book, because they're doing the shit that you would be like, yeah, that's the right thing to do. And it's great for that, because there's always something in zombie movies or stories or comics or TV shows or whatever that you're like, why the fuck didn't they do this? There's nothing to yell at in World War Z. It's fucking great. Like the humans, like it's rough at first, but they figure shit out.
Yep.
And what is it, 5 years? It takes about 5 years, I think.
10. I think it was like 5 years to win. 10 years is at the end, is when the book is written.
The book's written after 10. And but they've as of and independently, it's not like, we had to create a world government or anything to fucking do this. The different militaries around the world and the different people around the world start figuring out, this is what we got to do to take them out, and they start clearing them out. And they rebuild civilization and shit. And it's a great fucking book if you've never read. And it's not a tough read either. It's not a very big book.
No, I do it once a year. I'll do it like in the fall. I'll read it every once a year, and the audiobook is really good, and Mark Hamill is in it.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill plays, I think he's the Marine. I want to say he's the Marine guy, or he's someone.
Yeah.
They visit multiple times, but the audiobook is really good.
Yeah.
Like,
and another one, the one that led to that, is the Zombie Survival Guide, written by the same dude, Max Brooks.
Yeah, it's Mel Brooks' son.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And that book's great too. It doesn't, I mean, it's got a lot of story stuff in it. It's not
basic. It's basic. It's good stuff.
But it's a fun read. And honestly, like if you're thinking about getting into prepping, that's a great book to pick up. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Like there's some stuff in there that's pretty cool. Like they give you some ideas for some cool stuff. So, but
if you're prepping for zombies, you're prepping for everything else, right?
Exactly. Damn right.
Yeah, you remember that scene in The Walking Dead where they were driving that Charger and they first heard the mumble terminus message on the radio, and then they got stuck in the zombie.
Those arrived.
A better scene had they, like Duke was saying, they had 10-22s and stacks of fucking ammo. They just fucking annihilated all of them.
Yeah. Or how many times have we seen in the show where they've had access to large destructive devices, whether that be types of explosives or everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they've had on multiple occasions the ability to take out lots of zombies all at once. Hell, I don't know why. I guess maybe we live in or the Walking Dead. Those people live in a world where Mad Max was never a thing, because. I mean, I would be, once you got a community together, be like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. First up, you're going to go find all the fucking big rig trucks you can find locally, and we're going to outfit them out like fucking killdozers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to fucking monitor a fucking 10-mile radius around this place, and you're just going to mow motherfuckers down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what do you think the count is for zombies versus humans? Billions versus a couple of million, a few million?
It's hard to say. I don't think it ever really gets into number. We don't really know, even in the comics. Like it never really. But I always assumed they took out at least 99% of the population.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like 1,000 to 1, right?
It's 400,000 to 1. It's the Day of the Dead numbers. Dr. Frankenstein gives the numbers in Day of the Dead, which is probably the most realistic numbers we've seen. Given the population difference, maybe 500,000 to 1 is your ratio now. But most people are dead.
Yeah.
Now, how many of those are shambling around versus how many are actually an actual threat?
Well, I mean, we talking about like the differences in the walkers?
Yes, because I mean, about 20 or 30% are just down in the ground right now. Like they might still be undead and alive or whatever, but they're not a threat anymore.
Depends on what year you're talking about. They're obviously decaying, not at a realistic rate, but like they are decomposing. I mean, you guys, you've seen through the series, but they're still viable. So
yeah, like
that's another great thing about World War Z and Zombie Survival Guide is it was a very realistic rate of decay in those books as far as how it portrayed it. It's like, you know, if you were, that's why, and one thing that's never been talked about in The Walking Dead, which they talked about in the Mel Brooks books, which was, you know, like it was safer in hot climates because the walkers decayed quicker. The most dangerous place to be was somewhere where, you know, it froze over the winter, because then when the thaw happened, you'd get swamped by zombies that unthawed and that were still viable, that were still alive, or not alive, but that were still able to hurt you because they just froze over the summer and they were preserved.
Yeah, like that scene where they were all trying to walk the border of the Whispers, and then the thaw started happening, and then they all came out.
So this is cool stuff, man. I love zombies, man.
Oh, I fucking love zombies.
Well, and like in World War Z, it also talked about like most of the zombies were naked because when you would get sick or bit, you would have a fever. So what do you do when you have a fever? You strip down.
Yeah.
So like this whole thing of zombies just walking around in a bunch of clothes, you know, obviously some people get bit and when they're doing stuff, but a lot of it brought up with like that, and it was neat stuff. And it talked about how they would destroy them and get them into big cities, and they would just bomb the whole city. They would round them up in the city and blow the bridges.
Stripping down when they get a fever? Nah, that's not how you break a fever. You got to get like under the covers, super wrapped up, just to the point of heat exhaustion, and then you get out the covers. Okay, broken Professor. Many a fevers doing that way.
Okay, Professor.
I don't get if I have a fever, like a you know, really, I'm just under maybe a sheet. But
when you're sick, what do you're wearing gym shorts, right?
Yeah,
you're sick, gym shorts and a t-shirt.
You're not wearing much.
You're not wearing much, and most of the time I'm going just gym shorts, baby. I'm hot. I'm not feeling good. Trying to chill a little bit, get a fan on me. Gotta do something.
Yeah.
So the first 2 episodes of Tales from the Walking Dead are out. Who's watched that?
I haven't watched that yet.
I've watched both episodes. I highly enjoyed both episodes. I recommend if you like zombies, or let's say, and I know there's plenty of people out there who at one point liked The Walking Dead and then it just got old for them because of, let's be honest, they have some issues with, you know, their hit rate is not great. You know, they're 50-50 at this point with The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? As far as like, this is a good episode, this episode sucks, you know, back and forth like that. Like so far, we're only 2 in, and I think it's it's either 6 or 8 episodes. I can't remember.
I believe it's 8.
Is it 8? Okay,
so I believe it's 6.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, whatever it is, we're only 2 episodes in, but I can say the first 2 episodes were solid. They were good. They were enjoyable. I liked them, you know, just like I liked some of the best episodes of The Walking Dead. They were fun, which is something The Walking Dead rarely is fun, right? And they're almost kind of like it's an anthology series, so each one's different. But like the first episode was kind of a little more of a fun, you know, tale about, you know, this one particular character who's a prepper, and I won't go into any details, but you know, and just like a one little particular point, little adventure kind of thing. The second one was straight up like a goddamn Twilight Zone episode.
It was Groundhog's Day, pretty much, with zombies.
Yeah. Which was fun. It was a great episode of television, and we've never seen anything like that in any Walking Dead show.
But see, that's the greatness of being able to get away from the source material.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we could really do well. Because that's why sometimes I believe that Fear has done so well, is because it doesn't have to follow a source material and like this whole hype of, well, Daryl wouldn't do that or Rick wouldn't do that, which is sometimes a good thing, but sometimes also not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think giving it a little bit of space, it can do well. People like zombie stuff. Zombie stuff is still good.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
And again, whatever they're doing with the show, it works. First 2 episodes work really well, and it's just a fun, like 47 minutes to sit down and watch. It's just enjoyable. And
so with everything said about Tales of the Walking Dead, do you see it having the potential to go at least as long as The Walking Dead did?
No.
No, I don't. Because at the same time, I mean, so on anthology series, as we've seen from shows like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, stuff like that, can go on for years and years and years and years and years, because there's always more stories to tell when you've already grounded, when one of the main themes that's going to ground a story is you set it in this very specific world, i.e. the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I mean, I could see them getting a couple seasons out of it, a couple of 6 to 8 episode seasons out of it, some different stories and things like that. But after a while, it would be kind of difficult. You know what I mean? Because you're already
have to figure out how to make. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so you're already limiting it because every episode has to take place in the zombie apocalypse, and this specific zombie apocalypse. So you've already limited your storytelling abilities in that way. So yeah, I don't see it going for a bunch of seasons or anything like that. A couple, maybe, just 6 to 6 to 16 really good little fun stories by different writers and creators, with different characters. Yeah, I could easily see that. I don't see it going much farther than that without becoming stale and becoming unenjoyable.
Well, that makes sense.
So
I think they're gonna green light some of the stories first, and then say, okay, yes, this is good. We can actually start up another season of this.
Yeah.
Before they proceed to they don't want another Walking Dead where it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Well, they've got this is just to tide us over. This ain't gonna be the way they do it. This is to tide us over so we can enjoy some things. The real shows are coming. They're just waiting. They're waiting for the Rick and Michonne stuff. The Daryl thing, I don't even know how that works now.
I don't know how it's going, because I've heard literally nothing about it for about 4 or 5 months, whereas they've been pretty open about the Michonne thing, about the last season of Walking Dead, about continuing Fear, and then of course there's the Negan and Maggie show where they go to New York and it all takes place on the island.
I think it's a red herring. I think Daryl dies.
It might be.
I think 100% Daryl's gonna die. He's gonna save Judith or something like that. He's gonna die. This is a red herring. Daryl's going to France. Really? If that ain't jumping the shark, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Is the Negan show, is it confirmed?
Oh yeah, they're already filming. I've seen behind the sings stuff. Yeah, I've seen behind the scenes of them already filming. So it's going to be Negan and Maggie are going to be the 2 main characters, and they're going to be in New York. I'm assuming this has something to do. I'm guessing something to do with the what do they call themselves? The CR.
It's got to have something to do with Rick. All the posters.
Well, yeah.
There's been 3 posters, and every poster has Lincoln Tunnel, and it has a sign for the Lincoln Tunnel. And Andrew Lincoln, come on.
Well, and not only that, but one of the few, relevant things I learned from that first god awful season of World Beyond was that their headquarters is in New York. The CRM or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah.
That's where they're based out of, is New York. They made that very fucking clear. So I'm assuming it has something to do with that. As far as why Maggie and Negan would end up there. So, we'll wait and see. But yeah, it's confirmed. It's already, my understanding is they've already started filming.
They started filming already.
So yeah, that one's definitely confirmed. So, and my guess is because it's already filming, yet the Rick and Michonne show is not filming yet. Because when they went to Comic-Con, they said, we'll have, this time next year at Comic-Con, they'll have something to show us, which tells me they're planning on releasing the show probably, same time they would normally release a new season of Walking Dead. Yeah, which means they haven't started filming it yet. So what it may be is that we're getting, after this last 8 episodes of Walking Dead and it's over, we're going to get the Negan and Maggie show, which is somehow going to be the bridge between Walking Dead and the Rick and Michonne show.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's going to be an ongoing series. Maybe it gets more than one season, but I think the majority of it's going to concentrate on the one season, them going to New York. Now, whether that's to find Rick or what it is, I don't know. I think it will have something to do with the CRM, and then we'll see from there. I don't know. But
I don't really foresee them killing Daryl off because he's such a popular character. Because
but he's got nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, once the show's over, like, there's not much for his character in that way. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, is the show ever going to be over, or are they going to keep beating the undead horse?
No, the Walking Dead, the original show is this. We're going in October. They start premiering the last 8 episodes ever, and it's
that show, but like the world of the Walking Dead.
Oh no, they're gonna fucking milk that motherfucker forever. So,
are they gonna do another season or so of Fear the Walking Dead?
Yeah, Spear's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I like that show too.
So,
but what I was thinking about Daryl is, I know in the comics he wasn't there because they originally were going to cast Norman Reedus as Merle Dixon, but they liked him so much that they actually created the Daryl Dixon role for him.
Yeah,
and gave Merle to what's his face,
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, I could think of his name.
Real quick, Shot Red in the chat says, "I'm here and waiting, dude. I sent you a link already. It's in Discord. If you want to hop in." Wait, oh shit, he is hopped in. Fuck, I'm not looking at the goddamn thing. Motherfucker.
It's all good.
Son of a bitch.
Because I know you probably got to look through like more than
I've got a bunch of shit up in front of my stuff, so I'm not looking at, I'm not seeing everything, so that's why.
No, yeah, because I was hearing y'all talking about it, because remember, I kind of fell out when the whole Negan came around, but so apparently there's like an anthology series now with a whole bunch of different shorts. That's like
it just started. Only the first 2 episodes are out at this point. So, yeah. But anyway, Night Strike's out there. I sent you a link to Night Strike. If you want to hop in,
here he is, Night Strike himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but real quick, let's go back to something that Corey was talking about at the beginning, which is, of course, She-Hulk. So yeah, it premiered this week, and first episode only. Whatever. Watch the episode. Good episode of television. As far as like just everything they threw together, we get the little origin story, we get kind of the beginnings of She-Hulk, and then we get a lot of Bruce Banner and Bruce Banner Hulk and all that kind of stuff in there, just to kick us off. So we've got, first episode is basically just all of our origin story on, how she became She-Hulk, and, some training montages with her and her cousin and him trying to teach her how to be a Hulk. And then by the end of the episode, we enter into, her life as an attorney, now dealing with being She-Hulk and an attorney at the same time. And it was good.
I feel like you don't like it.
There was just a couple of times in there that I was just like,
there was some interesting. I mean, I haven't seen the show, but I've seen some interesting dialogue and stuff that they said that kind of.
I'm gonna be honest. The only real part the only time dialogue wise or anything. Now, this was honestly, I'll be honest. This is the only thing that I thought. Like, had you taken out this one thing, which was all of 30 seconds out of the first episode, it would have been better. Which is, there's at one point when he's trying to teach her to hold on to her anger, to like hold back her anger so she doesn't, turn into the Hulk and all that shit. And she goes on this diatribe about how she has to hold back her anger more than him because she's a woman, and because, she has to hold in her anger when she's catcalled, or when she gets mad at work, because then people will call her names at work if she gets mad at work. And in my head, I'm going, okay, so you're talking to your cousin who had his life completely ruined, had to go on the run for several years, was hunted by the military, lost control of his entire body for like 2 years, and was taken completely over by the Hulk. And you got catcalled and can't get mad at work when you're at a working at a law office, and that means you can hold your anger back better than him. Like, it was just real fucking in your face, like, oh, women have it harder than men, kind of. Just this one.
It really was in your face. But
You also
obviously he's
forgot
never
to
been
mention him not
catcalled
even being
before.
on the same planet at one point.
Or his girlfriend died to save the world.
It was just annoying that they had to throw that in there. It couldn't just be a story. It had to be like a fucking full diatribe. You know what I mean? Like, we had to get the little diatribe about how women have it harder than men when it comes to holding back their anger. And again, the examples that she used to her cousin, who the character's been through hell with his shit, you know, and she uses the examples of being catcalled and not being able to show that she can, when she's frustrated or angry at work. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Because she may be murdered. Don't you forget.
Yeah, she may be murdered. I don't know.
Like how that was such an that's the part that made me mad. It's like it went from
because I might get murdered if I get angry at somebody catcalling me. What?
I mean, mind you, you gotta remember who's directing the show, because it's a totally different people too. So they don't even probably care or pay attention to what's going on, even in the own MCU story lore.
It was unnecessary to the story, and it stood out, and it kind of just took your attention completely off of, you know, the world we're living in where they're fucking superheroes, and it's like, oh, they're trying to fucking throw some political bullshit in there right now. It felt so out of place for the rest of the fucking story, and it took me out of the story for a minute and made me hyper aware that they were pushing some, you know, political shit in the middle of the story, which Marvel, I mean, you know, people can say what they want about Marvel, but the Marvel movies and TV shows haven't really done that. Like, there was never a time when Black Widow fucking, like, look at Black Widow. Black Widow's a great example. We fully know all the shit that's happened to her in her life, including being forced to have a hysterectomy when she was a kid so she could never have children, and how she was trained and fucking essentially like mind controlled, but not really, but mostly, and like beaten and all these things to become the perfect assassin. And she's had a horrible fucking life, right? And we all know this, but she's a great fucking character, and you sympathize with her character because all the shit she's been through. And she never goes on some fucking diatribe about getting fucking catcalled. You know what I mean? And she's a good character.
I mean, I'll say this, Matt. There's certain parts, where certain films and movies that, you know, wasn't go through that, but there are some choices that they did happen. I mean, we could bring up even the Black Widow part with the whole Taskmaster thing when they flipped Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know that was annoying because they changed the character, but I didn't feel like that was any kind of like fucking, oh, it's feminism, whatever kind of crap. I was like, oh, they just fucked up a character.
Well, I cared that they changed their power set and like how they operate versus making them a woman. Like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I would have been fine with Taskmaster being a chick if like the character was the same. The whole point of the character is Taskmaster is this badass motherfucker because the power set is that it has nothing to do with being like a fucking half robot cyborg fucking thing with chips in her head, right? Like, she has powers or he has powers or whatever. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that was way more annoying to me than the fact that it was a chick. Oh, you just completely fucked up the character. Like, it could have been a chick. I don't know. Taskmaster always has a fucking mask on. I don't really give a shit who's under it, as long as they are a badass and it has nothing to do with being programmed by some Russian fucking dude. Like, they screwed that up. But I don't know, man. The She-Hulk thing, that one moment in the She-Hulk show which comes about 2/3 from the end, or about 2/3 into the show. So it's not too far from the end, about 10 minutes or so from the end of the first episode. Just like took me completely out of the show when that happened. And I was just like, oh, God damn it. You know.
So do y'all get the sense that they're trying to kill Captain America off? Like they're referring to him like he's not there anymore, like he's probably dead.
No, they haven't. They haven't done that. He's old. They know he's there. And there's all those rumors about, is Captain America hiding out on the moon? There's all those rumors that the average common people think. But everybody else really knows that he's alive. I mean, the rest of the Avengers know he's alive. They know he, grew old and got married to Peggy and all that shit. Like they know where he is, but he's just, he's old and he's lived his life. So
as certain people I've talked to and all this stuff, I could see this happening where they're most likely going to get rid of the character and switch it out to a new person because it's much cheaper just to get new actors now replacing those roles and just going that route.
Oh, maybe.
Well, it's going to be Anthony Mackie with the Falcon, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
No, they'll bring him back. They'll bring him back.
My guess is they're not going to mess up with the current continuity of Captain America. But you got to remember, he took back all the Infinity Stones and then went back to like the 1940s and lived his life again. They also have, not only do they have access to time travel, but there's no telling what things happened in his life over the course of 80 fucking years while he was living with Peggy. There's nothing. We know she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. She founded S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Yeah.
Now, what, did he just let her do all that shit and never do anything, never help, never go on a mission?
Well, Matt, that's a different timeline.
What do you mean it's a different timeline? No, it's not.
That doesn't apply. That's a different timeline.
Yes, it does.
Well,
it doesn't. Endgame explained it. It doesn't apply.
Remember.
What do you mean it doesn't apply?
In Falcon and Winter Soldier, you saw that they didn't stop trying to make super soldiers after Captain America. They continued on and kept on trying.
No, what I'm saying is,
it's not
the idea that Peggy, was a part of the whatever the fuck they called it. I can't remember what it was called before it was called S.H.I.E.L.D. Like that. I mean, she was a part of that. That didn't change.
The OSS.
Yeah, the OSS. There you go, or whatever it was fucking called. That eventually became S.H.I.E.L.D. Like,
but didn't she also
still went on and founded that and all that stuff because their timeline was still their timeline, and in their timeline, Peggy had done all that. Now there is an argument to be had because what they had talked about was if you go back in time, you're not technically going back into your own timeline, which means their Steve didn't go back into their timeline when he went back to go live with Peggy. So technically, their Steve is living in another timeline, which means the Steve that's there now that grew old with Peggy is technically not their Steve. He was from another timeline, very similar to the main one. And when he went back in time, he ended up in the 1940s in that timeline. There's that argument. But in that timeline, Peggy, was a part of the OSS or whatever. She helped.
No, it was the SSR, the Strategic Scientific Reserve.
Okay, well, whatever. She was part of that, and then she went on and helped found S.H.I.E.L.D. And so she did all those things, and we know she was with Steve that whole time. So the question is, over the course of 80 years, before she died, and before we see Steve again, did he just never do anything during that 80 years? He just stayed at home like a fucking stay-at-home husband? Or is there a chance he had some fucking adventures and shit that they could still tell stories about? You know what I mean? Like, he did shit. He was around for 80 fucking years behind the scenes, probably helping S.H.I.E.L.D. sometimes, or at the very least helping Peggy, or doing things that we didn't know about. There's that whole thing where even the Russo brothers came out and said that scene in Civil War where you see the old one of the people carrying Peggy's casket. They confirmed that's Steve. Like one of the old guys, he's one of the pallbearers. That was Steve. Like, so he was there at her funeral. Like he's been there the whole fucking time. That's who her husband was. That's who the father of her kids are. Is Steve. So you know, like they could certainly bring him back and like have adventures in the like 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s or whatever, right? Like he was around. So they could do all kinds of stuff, especially if they pulled out the nomad role, you know, because there was a period of time in the comics where he was a character. He gave up the shield and became a character called Nomad, where he was in a completely different costume and doing different stuff, and he was doing much more like undercover stuff and that kind of thing. You know, they could do a whole storyline with that, where he's, you know, not captain anymore, right? But he's doing stuff and helping Peggy, and so they could definitely fucking bring him back. So
with him being a super soldier and him and Peggy had kids, would that serum that's in his body, would that transfer to his kids to possibly give them powers?
I don't know. I mean, it's comic books.
It did change his genetic structure and whatnot. It possibly work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they could. It's comic books. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. They could certainly say it did.
Yeah.
You know?
So do they bring back Robert Downey Jr., say that he went back to the time back for, you know, he dies or whatever, and they go do some buddy cop kind of things?
I mean,
Robert Downey Jr. is not done with the MCU because
what are you saying?
No, there's no way he's done. I'm telling you right now, Marvel peaked with him. Marvel will never obtain to the level as it was with Robert Downey Jr. And someday,
I agree,
and they'll bring him back. And it might just be for a movie. It might be for a 10-minute scene because they'll want the Luke Skywalker moment. They're gonna want the melting of the minds. Walking Dead is gonna give it to us. They're gonna give it to us. Might be a year from now. They're gonna want to melt our minds. But I'm telling you, the formula of show the fans what they want, and they'll give us their money. They've learned that. Skywalker taught us that in The Mandalorian. Okay?
Unless they like go completely woke and then kill the entire MCU, nobody's gonna want to watch the shows anymore.
Not gonna do that. They're not gonna risk, even for the woke crowd. They learned that with your.
Oh, they did that with Star Wars.
They're starting to learn that, but remember, business people could be kind of fickle, and it takes too long for them to start reacting what they want to do.
Yeah, but they learned in Star Wars.
Not even including that the superhero genre might be dying soon. Not nowhere real soon, but you know, trends.
So I have a question about the whole Agent Carter, Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
In that one scene in the multiverse with Doctor Strange, where she was Captain Carter.
Captain Carter, yeah.
Yeah, where she was Captain Carter. Could they, you know, with Captain America going to that quote unquote alternate timeline, couldn't they spiral up something where he's with her and she's Captain Carter and he's Captain America?
Oh yeah, certainly.
Yeah,
they could. Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
just explore other characters and stuff.
And here's another thing you guys aren't getting, and this is what Duke was saying earlier with the whole Robert Downey Jr. thing, because of the multiverse. That also opens up to possibly getting Tony Stark back into the Marvel universe because they just went to an alternate reality.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about that.
You know, and someone had mentioned before in the Doctor Strange movie that there was one world that was that Doctor Strange went to that one of his alternates was living in, which was fractured. And someone had mentioned that, say, hey, what if the Tony Stark in that world is still alive? Why not just bring him to the main MCU universe?
I 100% agree with Duke. Like, I don't think these two characters are gone permanently. Now, they may just come back in cameos or for one movie some offshoot timeline. Right. I don't know, but these are box office draws. These are things that the fans want, and they're gonna go off. They're gonna do some other stuff. They're gonna tell some other stories. Bring in the Fantastic Four, which is one of the big ones. They've already started slowly working in mutants. They're gonna work more of those guys in. They're bringing stuff in, and at some point we're gonna get those two characters back. And again, it might just be a cameo or something. We don't know, but it's definitely gonna happen. So
yeah, I foresee it too. I mean, because they already introduced the multiverse, so there's infinite possibilities that they can do endless things.
Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
all right. But anyway, She-Hulk was a good show. It's just that one scene kind of threw me off, and it was kind of annoying because it was like, here we go. But that was it. It was just the one 30-second thing blurb out of that episode. Other than that, it was a good show. I did enjoy it.
Unneeded.
So
have you seen the thing about how Abomination has like the normal what oh god, is it Tim Roth voice? Like he doesn't sound like Abomination anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah, like there's
I'll be honest, I don't remember what he sounded like in that show. I just figured it was from what I remember, wasn't it just Tim Roth with like a fucking kind of like what they do with Hulk
with the filter, like the thing they did with Hulk, where he just has a filter, he sounds gargles.
So they just took the filter off.
But yeah, it's literally because it was a TV spot and everybody was criticizing it. It's like he's did something like turned into Abomination. And Jen was like, and he's like, all right.
I mean, they got to do something, at least deepen his voice a little bit. Although, I mean, now they do that with fucking Smart Hulk, right? Like Professor Hulk, he's just fucking, it's just Bruce Banner's fucking voice, which doesn't make any logical sense at all because just the physical transformation would change his voice, his vocal cords. So he shouldn't sound exactly the same.
Yeah, Hulk doesn't sound like that because he's just, well, one, he is dumb, but also like he's physically bigger.
Yeah, he's
genetically different.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think that we're supposed to get him next episode, so we'll see what he sounds like.
With Hulk being Smart Hulk now, because when they first introduced Hulk, he was fucking massive. And then when he became the Smart Hulk, it like he shrunk damn near half the size.
He's stronger, but he's not as Hulk strong.
They neutered his power.
They did.
Yeah.
Because he's not a rage monster anymore, and that's where he got his power from, pretty much.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is part of the thing about Hulk was that the angrier he got, the physically bigger and stronger he got. He would get bigger and stronger the more mad he was. So when so there's only there is now a limit because he's staying mentally Bruce Banner. So
that does question because so the whole thing is that Hulk is a separate personality from Bruce. Is Hulk aware that he's just being trapped in? Are they ever going to address that?
I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, because the way he describes it is, I merge the two. Yeah. So the way it's described, it's almost that he's both of them. But I mean, in the comics, Hulk was basically just described as Bruce Banner's baser emotional instincts that took over, right? So Hulk, while he was a separate consciousness on some level, he wasn't completely a separate consciousness. It was more like one of them going to sleep and dreaming.
Well, didn't they say Hulk was a part of Banner's subconscious at one point?
Maybe, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So
they kind of brought it up in She-Hulk when he was telling her about his alter ego, and because when he realized that she didn't have an alter ego, it was just her in the body herself. So I was just kind of wondering if maybe they were going to explore that and somehow bring the bigger Hulk back.
It'd be cool for maybe a 4 or 5 episode mini series where it's like Hulk as doing it like the Moon Knight series, like Hulk and Professor or Bruce Banner going at it one-on-one, trying to get a resolution to live in the same body.
Cool. One thing, I'll tell you what I want to see. I want to see us, now that we've gotten to Professor Hulk, right? I want to see us at some point, and whether that's over the course of several shows or movies or whatever, or if it's something that happens more suddenly or whatever, I want to see us get to a World War Hulk storyline where something happens and he fucking loses it and he becomes full-blown rage monster Hulk. And all the other heroes have to come together and figure out what the fuck to do about it.
Isn't that what's Secret Wars? Is that where
Secret Wars? It depends on which version of Secret Wars. There's been a couple of Secret Wars in the comics.
Okay.
There's one. I don't think they're doing it. That's not what the Secret Wars is, but they're just using the name. So
there's always something about that's what I liked about Civil War was that when they fought each other, that's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember the comic line where Wolverine was fighting the Fantastic Four and he fucked the Thing's face up with his claws?
Oh yeah. He actually took off some of the rocks on his face. Yeah, he scarred him
and he
up.
had to wear like a helmet after that.
Yeah.
That stuff is awesome. That's I want to see some of that again. That
I mean,
was
Yeah,
good
no
stuff.
shit.
I mean, you think it's not going to be the same as like World War Hulk situation, it's just going to be just him terrorizing around the whole planet, just regular, as he is. Because I could see them trying to do that because it's a famous, thing that happened. I don't know if they're going to do it good execution wise.
Well, and here's the thing: if they do it, it's certainly going to be like an Avengers movie or something. Because first of all, they don't have the rights to do Hulk movies, so they can't. So it would have to be like a World War Hulk type of thing, because he can't just have his own movie. So it's going to have to be a big crossover event, whether it's one movie or two or whatever. I don't know.
They don't own Hulk?
Nope.
No.
They don't own the movie rights.
Didn't Universal still own it?
Yeah, Universal technically still owns it, which is why they haven't done a Hulk movie since the one they did in 2009.
So wait. So then how do they get to have Hulk in the show then?
Because they can have Hulk in other things, but if there is ever a movie called Hulk or Incredible Hulk or The Hulk or whatever, right?
A solo movie.
Then they have the
Universal
rights
owns
to
it.
that. Now they do not have the rights to a She-Hulk show, because they neither have the rights to She-Hulk nor do they have television rights to anything Hulk.
It's
So
kind of
they're
like
able to do a
Spider-Man.
She-Hulk show.
You got to remember how Marvel was about to be gone, and then they fucked up and selling all their rights to everybody. So they ain't got everything.
Yeah.
And certain companies are definitely not going to let that go because that's a big bargaining chip.
They do have more of Hulk than they do Spider-Man, because they don't own anything of Spider-Man, basically.
And
They
they
own the
still
comic rights,
collaborate
that's
with
about
them
it.
to make money. So
Yeah. I mean, now
Yeah.
they do have TV rights, which is why they can do like cartoons and stuff of Spider-Man. But when it comes to movies, they only have the rights to even use Spider-Man in a movie if that movie is approved by Sony, produced by Sony, directed by, like, all that shit. Like, it's got to be a Sony production, and then they're allowed to use. That's why they can use that character. But those movies are run by Sony, not by Disney or Marvel Studios.
I'm thinking of hypothetical. What do you think about? What do you guys think about this? At one time, there was a whole thing with DC and Marvel doing stuff together, and given how stuff goes on with Warner Bros. And how bad they do with DC, you think there's going to be like a company or whoever's going to buy both of them out and do merging stuff again with them?
No. It's over. It's done.
I would love to see, because I used to read all those amalgam comics back in the day where they would like mash a, we had, what was the one? Dark Claw was a cross between Batman and Wolverine, and there was Super Soldier was a cross between Superman and Captain America, and there was all those different characters where they had mashed up. There was what was the fuck was his name? Iron Lantern was a cross between Iron Man and Green Lantern. And they had a bunch of really cool characters. I read all those comics back in the day when those first came out. I thought they were very well done. They got good writers to do them. It was very cool to see those characters being mashed together in this, unique amalgam universe. And I would love to see some stuff like that. But I don't think we're going to ever see that on screen anytime soon. So
what I'm waiting for is that they kind of teased it in the Doctor Strange multiverse movie. Is I hope they do justice when they actually finally bring back the Fantastic Four better than that fucking previous movie they did, which to me I thought was a shit show.
Oh, that one came out in 2017 or whenever.
Yeah,
that was.
That was.
I'm glad I never saw it.
I never even waste my time watching that.
Yeah, it wasn't worth a watch in my opinion, but I hope they do it justice. I like John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Mm-hmm.
I like the actor. But who would y'all like to see as Storm and Johnny and the Thing?
I mean, I don't know. I can't think of a young Johnny Storm, or maybe Shannon Tatum. I don't know. Shit.
I mean, here's the thing, because and me and Duke talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it. I like the idea, and I really hope they end up doing this, where this whole Kang thing that's going on with Loki and the Ant-Man movie and all this stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
That we know he's there, we know he's been around. And there was that trailer that was released that I've seen transcripts of from Comic-Con, but nobody's got to see the trailer unless you were at Comic-Con yet, where Kang is talking to Scott, and he says, well, I'm an Avenger, and he goes, oh, you were an Avenger, have I killed you yet? which tells me that Kang's been around for a long time. He's gone through time many different times. He's killed off Avengers. Kang's number one enemy has always been the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And I think it would be awesome if over the course of this fucking whole, Kang thing, before he's defeated, we find out that no, Kang went back in time and killed off the Fantastic Four. He killed off a bunch of mutants. He killed off a lot of people. And what's going to happen is when they stop Kang, that whole timeline's going to be like reinstated. And all of a sudden we're going to realize, no, these characters were here the whole fucking time. They had just got removed from the timeline by Kang. Yep. And then we don't need young versions of fucking the Fantastic Four anymore.
No.
We can jump straight to John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. You know what I mean?
He's always been there.
Because he's always been there. He was just him and the Fantastic Four were removed from time. I really like that idea. I think that's a great way to do it. You don't have to do any origin stories. You can basically just start up, and now all of a sudden everybody remembers, oh, yeah, there is a Fantastic Four, and they've been around for a long-ass fucking time. Yeah. And we don't have to go into their origin. We don't have to fucking do anything. We don't need to get young actors, in their fucking 20s to play the roles. We can get the better choices, which I think John Krasinski is a fucking fantastic choice as Reed Richards. And like get his wife, get Emily Blunt to play Sue. That's the dream cast right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And have them play Sue and Reed, and I don't know about Johnny and the Thing, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what would be optimal. And I don't know if that's what they're working towards or not, but certainly they've laid the groundwork that they could do that if they want to.
It could happen, but they need very talented writers, and they have to be really crucial with that.
Yeah. But I mean, the storylines are there. That they've opened up all the stuff with Kang and with all the other multiverse stuff, and everything they've done has. And they were even very specific in that Doctor Strange movie. They made sure that everybody that was in that movie was not a different version that looked completely different. You know what I mean? Everybody that was there in those other timelines looked exactly like the characters that we know.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't Reed Richards? Why wouldn't he be the exact same person?
John Krasinski knows stuff because he was on Jimmy Fallon, and somebody like Fallon asked him or Kimmel asked him or whatever it was, like directly asked him. He's like, I can't talk. Like if you're not in talks, you can't say I can't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in talks about it, man. And everyone loves that guy just from The Office. People love him just because he was Jim from The Office. They want him in that character. They
bring back Fantastic Four. How long does it take for them to bring in Galactus? Because that's going to be the next big bad, right?
They've got to get through the Secret Wars, Secret Invasion storyline they're working on. They're calling the next one. What are they calling it? The Multiverse War is another one that they're working on.
Remember, if they bring back Galactus, they have to bring back the Silver Surfer.
I know, and I'm very excited about that.
I love the
He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. He was not bad in that Fantastic.
No, he was not bad. He just did what he was told, so his world wouldn't be.
No, I'm saying I liked him. Like that was a good movie.
It was a very good representation. I love Lawrence Fishburne as the voice too.
Lawrence Fishburne is an incredible actor.
Yeah, so they did a great fucking job.
Really good.
And I have another quick question on because you kind of touched on it, Matt. About the Green Lantern. Do you think they'll ever redo the Green Lantern? Because I know Ryan Reynolds said he would never play that character again. But do you think they'll ever do anything with that character?
Do it.
They will 100% do it. If you look at what has happened with Warner Brothers and DC movies and all these things, and even the TV shows, if you looked at what's happened in the last 60 days, they are going through everything, burning everything down that does not meet 100% quality standards that will help them build this. I mean, the dude came out, and I forget his name, the new head of Warner Brothers came out last month and is like, look, we own DC Comics, we own Superman, we own Batman. We should be the #1 movies in the world every time we release something. Because everybody knows who our characters are.
Yep.
Because that's why he said they are making DC it's its own thing now. Just like Marvel Studios is its own thing. It's a separate company. I mean, it's still owned by Disney, but he said we're bringing in, and they don't know who it's going to be yet. We're bringing in somebody to head that studio. It will now be its own studio. They will be doing their own things. Anything that does not meet our quality standards, that both will be profitable for this company and will make the fans happy, we will not do anymore. We will not do that. We will make the best movies possible from now on. They're getting rid of almost all of the stuff on CW. CW just got sold off. It's now owned by another fucking company. All that shit's going to be fucking gone. They canceled Batgirl. They canceled fucking Supergirl. The only one they're keeping now that they're keeping Flash, Shazam, and Aquaman 2. Those are the only three things that they're fucking keeping. And
mostly because Shazam and Aquaman 2, at least Shazam is done. There's no reason.
Here's the thing: if we see another Green Lantern, I would like them to just go from we know his origin story. Maybe go further down the line, like bring the Yellow Lantern Corps.
I don't know what they're going to do, but he is one of the top 7 characters in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Okay, and they are definitely going to do more with him. It has been long enough since they've done anything Green Lantern, right? That Green Lantern movie was what, 2008?
Yeah.
9, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So it's been more than long enough. That character has not been shown in live action, on television, in movies, anywhere. 100%, they are doing more Green Lantern in the movies, and they're going to tie it into all this stuff. They're going to use. Look, it's already been leaked that there's all kinds of, like, first of all, Flashpoint got an amazing response from the screenings that it's gotten so far. But they've said we are going back. We are doing some reshoots. We already did some reshoots this summer. We're doing some more right now. We're tweaking the movie, and all that was said was we are tweaking the movie to allow it to better fit in with the direction of DC movies from this point forward. Okay, so they're going in, they're making some tweaks to the stories so that whatever the result is after the Flashpoint movie, which if you know anything about the Flashpoint storyline, Flash goes back in time, changes a whole bunch of things, and then has to fix it. But after he fixes it, the current world is different. Some of the characters are different. Some things are different. So it is like a clean slate, point where you can do that movie and then everything that comes after it can be completely different. It doesn't have to tie into any of the things before that movie. Any of the movies that have come out in DC, none of those things have to tie in to what happens after that.
You know what I'd like to see?
They're going to use that movie to clean slate it, which is why they pushed it back. Originally, it was supposed to come out before Shazam 2. It was supposed to come out before Aquaman 2, but they pushed it back to after because they want to get those movies out because those movies did screen well. Those movies are complete, and they want to have the start off point after those movies.
I mean, that will pretty much save them. As far as like the whole Green Lantern thing, there's so much they can do with that. So many lines. They can make a lot of money off of that if they don't know about
if they just get it right. Story. And I'd like to see more Constantine too.
Oh yeah, because
he is a DC character. We all forget because but he is a DC character, and if you watch some of the animated movies that they do, he's there at some point with the Justice League as well.
Yeah.
If they bring some more supernatural aspects to the whole DC universe, that's going to bring a whole bunch of people in.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And they can even make it separate. Put call like a little different. You know how they do like Justice League Dark and all the other stuff, but they can do their own thing.
But what I was getting at is they have all these other aspects that they don't explore, and if they don't explore, make more movies or TV series or whatnot to try and make them. This is why DC is different than Marvel. Then they're not going to get that niche.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to. They're there because they're DC, not because they're better than Marvel. But if you show something different than the same old, oh hey, here's your superhero movie.
Yeah, we could throw a good example of that. The Marvel when they did with I'm trying to remember the group, right? The Rocket Raccoon and them. I'm trying to think right now.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. that was something separate where it actually became really, really popular.
Yeah.
I knew that series was going to be very successful. How the way
Yeah.
it's been, I'm like, you could do something with that with a lot of DC properties.
Exactly.
Yep.
I want to see him do a full blown, just go for it, and just start off not with a Green Lantern movie, with a Green Lantern Corps movie.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
you know,
Just jump straight to Green Lantern Corps, and then maybe even at the end of that movie, you can do a movie that's just like Guardians of the Galaxy, doesn't take place on Earth, has nothing to do with Hal Jordan. It's about the Green Lantern Corps, and you get a core cast of characters, whoever they are, and maybe Abin Sur can be like the main guy. And at the end of that movie, at the very end of that movie, something happens to him, and he gets hurt, and he's dying, and the very end of the movie, he crash lands on Earth, and Hal Jordan finds him and gets the ring, and that's the end of the fucking movie.
Actually, and I think that's
That's
where
the
they're
end of the
failing.
movie right there.
That's where they're failing. That's a good avenue, but I think it's time to let Hal Jordan just be not try and rehash Hal Jordan. I think they should completely skip Hal Jordan and go to John Stewart instead.
I like John Stewart, but I'm gonna be honest. My favorite Green Lantern has always been Guy Gardner. I fucking love me some Guy Gardner. He's a cocky asshole, he was always fun and entertaining to read about in the comics. And I've never seen. I don't know that has he ever been in even any of the animated stuff? I don't think so.
No, he hasn't.
I mean, I know he was in that short-lived
cartoons.
Green. He was in that short-lived Green Lantern show that had one season, like I don't know, 5 years ago or something.
I'm so glad they made that canon though, because Razor showed up in Young Justice.
John Stewart though was in at least the Justice League.
John Stewart's been in a lot of animated stuff, and I like him. I like John Stewart
than Kyle,
but I don't find him as interesting of like. So John Stewart is like, so you got the 3 Green Lanterns of Earth. You've got Hal Jordan, John Stewart. Well, actually 4. Hal Jordan, John
you
Stewart.
forget Alan Scott.
Well, he's not a real. I mean, he's Green Lantern, but he's a magical Green Lantern. But the ones that are actually at least are or have been part of the Corps are Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, and Kyle Rayner,
and Jessica Cruz.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her, but she's new.
Fuck and her. The other guy, but he has done nothing. I don't know who he is.
I don't know. Well, the ones I grew up reading about are those 4, but and you could do so many stories with those 4 characters, but
it's about time they need to do something with it, like we were saying a while ago.
Yeah,
I would like to do that.
Oh, Jolly! Before I forget, I got to show you something.
I enjoyed the Green Lantern movie they did years ago.
Someone is going to realize, and this is what they're doing. They realize that they need to get a grip, and they've been way behind Marvel in having continuity and having one big guy in charge that runs everything.
Mm-hmm.
They've not done that. I know people that love DC cartoon movies way better than anything live action, and they produce some pretty good stuff in the cartoon.
I do.
world.
I whenever they release a movie or animated movie, I watch it because
those animated movies are fucking great.
They've got better. Well, let's be honest, they got better continuity with the animated movies than they do with the actual movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they should just go a little bit more mature with their movies and keep out of politics, and they could probably do it better than Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I want to see more of Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke.
Yeah, I thought he would be a great.
We were robbed.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did really good as that character, but I also liked that character, Deathstroke.
Well, Deathstroke's guys with guns, right? So.
Oh my gosh, is that Vicious?
It's Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
Wait, whose is that? Wait,
that's Cowboy Bebop.
But Matt, I don't think you never seen the show. So
Matt, have you ever watched Cowboy Bebop?
No, not yet. I'm waiting. Me and my daughter are gonna watch it.
Yes.
Watch the anime. Don't watch the TV series.
Dude, somebody look. I want you to look at this.
We talked about
this is the retail price on this motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I paid for this? I found somebody selling this, and it's original. I checked it to make sure it's not a knockoff or anything. And some dude was selling this for $20 on eBay.
I believe it.
Brand new in the fucking package.
It just means he couldn't sell it for.
No, and I checked too because first of all, I've done extensive research on how to identify a knockoff, and first of all, they never have the Tamashii Nations thing on there. Sometimes they'll put the Bandai, and then also the UPC is always wrong.
I mean, do
UPC
you always
is
run
correct.
into a lot of knockoffs?
You can find a lot of knockoffs on eBay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot. There's a lot of them out there. So first of all, never buy anything if what you are looking at are stock photos. Always make sure they're real photos, especially if you're buying anything SH Figure Arts. Make sure it has that Tamashii Nations, that little heart with the horns, because the knockoffs never have that on there. Sometimes they'll have the Bandai, but they never have that on there. And you always make sure they will give you a picture of the UPC, because the UPC is not the same on the knockoffs as it is on the originals.
Okay, yeah, no, the reason why I said, because there are certain creators that do make up their own type stuff, and sometimes even better than what the ones you find. So,
they can be, yeah. Most of the knockoffs. Although I will say, for these figures that are made, these are all made in China anyway. But these actually tend to be better knockoffs. But I don't want to buy the knockoffs. So, but yeah, this is this is if you were to translate this, that's actually a retail store in China. Or not China.
Japan.
No, it's Japan. Thank you.
It's Bandai in Japan.
And that UPC. So it's original UPC. That's the US price for it, and then it's got the Tamashii Nations thing on there. So it's original, and plus it's got the hologram on there that the knockoffs don't have. That's actually a sticker. On the knockoffs, they try to print the hologram on there, so in pictures it kind of looks like it's there, but it's just printed on the box. It's not an actual sticker. So
are you gonna watch the anime now?
Yeah, I've been meaning to for a while.
I'm curious to see a review of that.
Matt, if you want to watch the movie, I have it on DVD. I could probably hook something up where I could either mail it to you to borrow, or I could
I guarantee you the movie. I'm pretty sure the movie's on that website I use.
Oh, it probably is.
Yeah, it should be.
The movie's not that great though.
Don't
the series
do bad
is better.
about the movie.
Well, now where does the movie fall in the series? Is it?
It doesn't specify.
It's
but
like
just
in
generally
between
episodes 8 and 2 before the finale.
It's
so you don't have to watch it in any specific order. It should just be like its own little.
You just have to wait till all the characters are introduced, and before the finale. That's really all you have.
Yeah, because you do see some side characters that do pop up.
If you want more, watch the movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, I thought you would appreciate that. So
I do too.
I would.
I do too.
Yeah.
Did you see those 3 comments by Patrick Pew Pew, man?
Let's see. No, I don't. Why don't I see them?
He said Marvel rights return in summer 2023. It was a 15-year deal in 2008. And he heard that talks about Wolverine returning in a Hulk movie, possibly after the rights return.
Oh my God!
No, that's what I heard
awesome.
too. Because that was the rumors. Is that's how they were going to introduce Wolverine, was as he was originally introduced in the comics, which is the first time we ever see Wolverine. He's working for the Canadian government. Hulk at that point is on a rampage through Canada.
He's not Wolverine. He's Weapon X at that point.
Yeah, but they send Wolverine after Hulk to try and stop Hulk. That's the first time Hulk ever made an appearance in the comics, or Wolverine ever made an appearance in the comics, was he was sent by the Canadian government to try and stop Hulk, who was rampaging through Canada. And of course, then he goes and becomes an X-Men and all that shit.
I want to see some more Wolverine movies with him not being Weapon X'd. No animanium or anything like that.
Bone Claw.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, got a super chat here from Jack Barnes. Says, "So everyone, what's your favorite anime or cartoon?"
There's a lot.
Ooh.
I'm still telling you to see, Matt.
There's a lot of them, but I'm going to come out here and say it because there's a channel in Discord with its name on it. One of my absolute favorites from my childhood.
Okay, so I will say, if we're talking TV series. Like, honestly, TV series and anime, for me, it's the same thing. It's Robotech.
Yeah.
I'm a
that's...
I like Robotech, too.
Because I consider, usually, under most circumstances, I consider anime, or as I used to call it, Japanimation. Cartoons, different things. Yeah. But in this case, that would be both of them.
I'll even go further that I'll even extend, the Macross stuff that Robotech became. Robotech was pulled from.
Macross is, I would say, is the better.
Even the extended Macross stuff, because they've done some different stuff. Like there's a Macross series where it's just you see Roy Foker's background when he was just fighting in the World War. Before the ship crash before the whole SDF-1 crash landed on Earth.
Yeah.
See the rights of Robotech and Macross also, that's a big clusterfuck to even talk about that mess.
Oh yes.
But, as far as that, I was gonna say as far as like my favorite anime, like pretty top. I like Yu Yu Hakusho. So
that was all right. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
In the chat, Calhoun Republic says, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, because I know how much Matt loves Batman. Batman annoys the shit out of me.
He's kind of like a pointless character because he doesn't fucking really do anything.
Remember what he said in the Justice League movie when he's asked what his superpower was. I'm rich.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So so I always liked Batman when he was in the Justice League comics because it was almost like he was a different character, right? Like he was the brains behind the Justice League. You know, he was the guy that did all the tech stuff. He was the brains. He helped came up with the plans, all that kind of stuff. And he was, in my opinion, way smarter and way more of a benefit to humankind when he was a part of the Justice League. When he was in his own comics, he was essentially just a psychotic nut job who spent billions of dollars so he could run around the city helping Gotham
by beating up all the criminals.
By beating up criminals. And then, but then, like after Joker and Riddler and Penguin and all these other characters escaped Arkham Asylum, like for the 537th time, and he still didn't go and just put a bullet in their fucking head. At a certain point, you're the fucking problem. Like you know, these people are psychotic serial killers. They're killing people. You know what I mean? And you just would rather fucking play Bat and fucking pretend like you have some weird set of fucking morals that allows you to spend billions of dollars saying, I'm helping Gotham. Well, you know, with billions of dollars, you could do a lot more things that if you really wanted to help Gotham, like there's way more productive things you could be doing with your time and money that would help the city out than this bullshit you're doing, which is all just self-aggrandizing crap. Yeah. Like he's just verbally filleting himself with the whole Batman persona at this point. And it's just fucking annoying as a character. I find Batman annoying in his own comics. Well, as a Justice League member, he's much more effective.
Well, remember in that one in that one Justice League Unlimited episode where, you know, they went to an alternate reality and Superman decided, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with these people like this over and over again, and just decided to use his laser eyes for you know modified lobotomies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I think it was like Injustice, right?
Yeah.
Where Superman just goes ape shit and kills everybody.
That's another version. Yes.
There's several multiverse versions of Superman that have done that. Yeah. That seems to be a theme that a lot of versions of Superman were like eventually came to the realization like, you know, I have all this power and people still keep doing bad shit. So why don't I just fucking kill them? Like I have the ability. Nobody can fucking stop me. They can't lock me up. Like I can make mankind better if I just fucking kill all the bad guys. And who the fuck's going to stop me? And half the time in those other universes, he becomes like some fucking leader or something or president or, you know, whatever. Like,
well, there's also Red Sun where he, he props up the Soviet Union instead, and look how gloriously that turned out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was also a version with.
Well, he was banging Wonder Woman in that one though, so there's obviously some perks. I'm just saying.
I would like to see Batman, you know, like in the Justice League, but as more of a darker character where he'll straight up like fuck somebody up and kill him, like. You know, do like Terminal List where he rips the intestines out and nail it to the wall and just do what needs to be done.
Well, if you read the Batman comics, and I read them for many, many, many years, okay? Like, the most effective Batman that Batman has ever been was when Bruce Wayne was not Batman, but what's his father? Jean, what was his name? Jean
Azazel or Azrael.
Azrael, but his real name was like Jean Pierre or something or whatever the fuck his name
French
was.
Or something.
Yeah, and he became a Batman that just straight up fucking killed people who were bad guys. Like he would go around and he was the Punisher of Batman. Like he basically became Batman, but Punisher. And that was after Batman got his back broken by Bane and he couldn't be Batman anymore, and Bruce Wayne was all laid up and all this other shit. And Azrael took over and was like actually getting shit done in Gotham. Like,
yeah,
it's the most effective Batman's ever fucking been. So yeah.
So do you think we'll ever get a Batman Beyond movie?
No.
I hope so, but I don't know.
Funny thing, I never heard of this Batman, but he has a sword too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Azrael
Why
was
is he on
fucking
fire?
cool.
He was from some
that's
Night
when he's
Order or
actually that's when he's actually Azrael. Like, he's got the Azrael suit and then he's got the Batman suit. So he was a character Azrael first, and then took over for Batman when Batman got his back broken and he became Batman in Gotham for a while. And then after that he went back to being Azrael. When Bruce Wayne magically healed his fucking severed spine or whatever the fuck happened. I don't know.
Hey, he was doing push-ups and sit-ups in that
anger
prison.
Mhm.
You remember? I was there.
Well, that was in the movie, but no. I don't remember how he healed his back in the comics. I don't remember what the deal was.
Well, does the Lazarus Pit have a healing property to it? So
Yeah,
he
it
probably
does.
just died.
Yeah. And I don't-
then-
I don't remember if it was the last. I honestly, that storyline was a long time ago, and I don't remember how he healed his back, but it may have been a Lazarus Pit. But all right, super chat from Ghost Shadow says, "Dead bad guys, no more job." Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Fucking Bruce Wayne's psychotic. He cares more about keeping and running around as fucking Batman than he does actually protecting Gotham and getting rid of bad guys.
Yes, that's the point. You can go on vacation after they're all gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it came out and he's limited. It's like Superman in some ways. Like, Superman has all the powers, so like it's limited in a scope. Batman never evolved like it should have. Like Marvel had such a great opportunity to have with its characters. It's just that kind of stayed stale in a lot of ways. Where
Yeah.
he should have evolved with the times. Different iterations have been successful. I don't know. The Dark Knight stuff is I don't know, overhyped in my opinion.
I'll be honest. One of the best versions of Batman I have seen, everybody can laugh if they want, was the fucking Ben Affleck version of Batman.
Yeah,
Like when we first see him, he hasn't been Batman in a really long time because he basically killed everybody, right?
Yeah, that's
And he only comes back when he sees this greater threat in Superman. And he will fucking bust out some goddamn, fucking Ma Deuces off his goddamn Batmobile and shred through some motherfuckers if they're bad guys. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He was killing people left and fucking right in that fucking Batman v Superman at the end in that third act. Like, he didn't give a shit. He was an effective fucking Batman.
But I was gonna say, you forget, man. He's supposed to be inspiration to the kids. You can't kill people.
No, fuck that. Batman doesn't need to be an inspiration. Batman needs to be about as much of an inspiration as fucking Punisher does.
I mean, didn't the original version of Batman use 1911s?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Sure
You
as
forget
shit
that.
did. Fucking shoot people in the face. Bad
Well,
guy, bang.
Well, there's a guy I follow, right? He pretty much say Batman's a plagiarism to the Shadow.
Speaking of Punisher, when are we going to get more Punisher movies?
We don't know.
I think we're gonna get more TV shows. I think we're gonna get John Bernthal back.
Yeah, I hope they keep him because he was a fucking badass.
He was the perfect modern take on Punisher.
Yeah,
perfect.
So they're probably going to do Daredevil again, and then they'll bring back Punisher.
Yeah. Well, I think it's already been leaked that Daredevil or that Punisher is going to be in at least one episode of the Daredevil show coming next year. So, yeah, he's coming back.
That's one I'll give a try to watch. I'll watch the Daredevil thing just to see what happens.
All right, super chat. This one's from MTS 1993 over on the Geek Fusion side. Boys season 4 has started filming according to rumors. Yes, it has. I love that show. That show's so fucking good. The Boys is great.
Season of The Boys, but there's been so much other shit that's come out that's taken my attention away from that. I got to get caught up.
Get caught up, man. That show is so good. As long as you're not afraid of exploding penises.
Oh gosh.
I'll tell you one thing, they really did change it up, so it's nowhere nothing like the comic. So, but that differs for certain people.
Yeah, The Boys is a comic I never read. Never read The Boys. They came out after I'd kind of stopped reading comics back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I can't remember when The Boys first popped up. But I'd never read them. So I've only, just because I'm into comics, like I just know, about the boys and know some of the basics about the storyline and stuff. But for the most part, most of what I know about the boys or what I've partaken in entertainment has all been the TV show.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I never got to I never got to read the original comics. But yeah. Let's see. There was something else I was going to talk about today. And I don't know if I can remember what it was. What was it? Let me
New
look.
Game of
Oh, no.
Thrones show's coming out tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Because me and my wife are almost done. We've been all week rewatching Game of Thrones, and we're now in the final season, season 8. We're about to start episode 2, and god damn, is that show so fucking good? I don't give a shit what anybody says about how it ended. Even if you don't like the ending, like that doesn't take away fucking 7.5 amazing fucking seasons of television.
I concur.
I mean, I'll say this: it still left a bad taste in our mouth.
See, it didn't bother me anywhere near as much because there were certain things that people had a problem with. The main 3, I would say, that people had a problem with were Daenerys all of a sudden turning evil, Bran becoming king, and the death of Cersei and Jaime. Right?
See,
those are the 3 I heard.
I would argue about the Daenerys turning evil thing was foretold for that. It's just the execution was bad.
Well, see, that was my point. Was that literally she's burned motherfuckers alive for like 7 seasons. Like she can be vengeful and mean and all this stuff. So to me, that was not that didn't bother me at all. Bran becoming king didn't bother me. It made sense the way the story was told. I did think Cersei should have died way worse, and I think in the end, Jaime, who spent 7.5 seasons,
they ruined
slowly becoming a better person, should not have in the end just bitched out and went after his sister and died because he's a little bitch.
Well, I feel like they did that and they cucked Jon Snow's character.
Yeah.
I think that's what the whole point was. He laid down power when he didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what he would do as that character,
Well, my thing is, I think the biggest issue with season 8, is not any particular storyline. It is the fact that it was rushed.
Yeah, I felt like that was rushed way too much.
There was evidence of it being rushed.
It is the fact that they should have that should have been a 10-episode season, and some of those storylines should have been stretched out a little more to where it just felt more natural, instead of some of those things in those last 2 episodes felt very abrupt. And that is why I think that is really the only major issue with that final season, is that it was just too abrupt there in the last 2 episodes. A lot of shit went down in the last 2 episodes, happened very, very quickly. And when you're only talking about a 6-episode season, that's a third of the show of what you get kind of compacted down. And but anyway, so I'm rewatching the show. Fucking phenomenal show. Still love it to this day. Think it's one of the best shows ever been on television.
Yep.
So tomorrow night we get House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. The first episode has been premiered at a couple of cons, where it's got apparently like standing ovations and all this shit. Everybody's saying the first episode is fucking amazing. That it even opens with the Game of Thrones theme. They're keeping the theme, although the intro is different, the visuals are different, but the song is the same Game of Thrones song, which is awesome. I'm glad they didn't change that up. So that comes on tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to that. I was sitting there talking to my wife, and I was thinking, what would be awesome? And I wish Duke was still here. He fucking bitched out. But what would be awesome? And I know they're never going to fucking do it. But if we took the world of Game of Thrones, Westeros, Eros, all that shit, right? This kind of other world that takes place wherever the fuck it's supposed to take place. It's this fantasy world somewhere else. It's not Earth. It's somewhere else. Continents look different. Everything's different, right? And we just fast forward it a few thousand years to where that world is now living like we do today. then The Night King Returns. And then you get a cross between Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, and it'd be fucking awesome. and like the Targaryens or the Starks or whatever, like they're still around, but now they like run huge corporations or something. You know what I mean? Right. Or they're politicians or something, right?
Pretty out there.
Jon Snow would have to reproduce in order to keep the Targaryen line going.
Well, okay, maybe it's not the Targaryens or whatever. You know what I mean? But like the Starks are still around, you know? Like all these
Jon Snow probably will reproduce.
Yeah, he will.
He is out there with the wildlings, right?
Yeah. So, but like you've still got some of the family names still around, and they're like rich and powerful and fucking like, you know, they're running corporations or they're politicians or they're this or they're that, and it's modern day times. Oh, now Duke comes back.
I'm sorry, I had to reboot. I downloaded a game and it was slow. So
well, you missed my pitch, man. You missed my pitch.
What was your pitch?
They could do that when Arya goes west to Westeros and she discovers all that shit, you know, discover whatever, you know, make that story.
And she's inevitably going to get laid and have kids. So, and so is Sansa. No, my pitch was, what if you took the world of Game of Thrones, right? And we do another TV show, except it takes place thousands of years in the future when the world of Westeros is basically where we are today. And then the Night King returns. And you have a cross between Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. And you've got like, instead of House Stark, you've got like the Stark Corporation. And instead of like House Lannister, you've got John Lannister as, you know, a fucking senator or some shit, right?
And cool. So Robert Downey Jr. comes back in with an iron suit as the Stark Industries guy.
Like, you just progress this world a few thousand years until they've technologically caught up with us today, and you know all that shit. But things are still different because it's still the world of Game of Thrones, right? But you know their technology is caught up. People live more modern lives like what we do today, and instead of like kings and queens, you've got politicians and you've got, you know, people who run corporations, and like Stark Corporation is like the largest corporation in the fucking world, you know, or whatever, right? Like you modernize it and then have it be where everybody's forgotten about all the shit that happened and everybody's living modern lives and all this shit. But then here come the fucking White Walkers again. And you got a fucking zombie story, like a full-blown zombie story in Game of Thrones.
Well,
and then they found some more dragon eggs somewhere.
I don't know about
and
that.
You got some dragons.
I'm just saying, I think it would be cool.
Well, you would have to explain that story real well because remember the Night King is gone. Completely gone.
I mean, but they can always find a way.
No one's ever really gone.
The children of the forest go ahead and redo their mistakes from the past. Make another
Oh yeah, maybe there's still some of them, technically, yeah.
I mean, you know, something happened, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe the children of the forest, they're now out and they live like in public and shit, and they run a fucking daycare up north or something. And I don't know.
They're the lizard people behind the scenes running shit.
I don't know. Figure it out, man. I'm just saying, a modern day take on the world of Game of Thrones. I'm down for it.
Would Bran Stark still be the three-eyed raven?
No, he's dead. But there would be a three-eyed raven still. That's the thing. There would be a fucking three-eyed raven, and he'd either be a politician or he'd be, you know, I don't know. He'd be like some fucking guru that lives in the mountains that fucking rich people go and like, you know what I mean? Like it's been passed down generation after generation, or whatever the modern, you know, whoever the modern person is, that's the new three-eyed raven. You know what I mean? He's not just some dude that lives in a fucking tree root. You know what I mean?
Tree root.
I like Brian Knight's comment. He said, what if Jon Snow is immortal after being resurrected by the god of fire, the Red Lady?
Oh, maybe. And then like halfway through the show, like you're not even expecting it, here comes Jon Snow wandering out of the fucking north, and he's still alive. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Rest is a Taliban.
See? There you go.
How y'all doing tonight?
Not too shabby. But anyway, that was just my theory. So
I like it. I could deal with it.
I want to see what somebody with good imagination could do with that. Just make something fun and cool out of it. You know, why not?
We all collaborate and come up with a storyline and present it to somebody.
Yeah, there you go. I'm down. Anyway, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about tonight. There's a movie, and I don't know what it's on. I got to be honest. I think it was a Hulu, but it also could have been like Paramount Plus or something like that, or Peacock or something. I don't remember what it was on, but there's a movie called Vengeance that just dropped streaming this week. And I don't want to give too much of it away, but like if you get a chance to watch the trailers or whatever, cool. But it's about a dude who's like this, cynical dude from New York who writes for like the New York Times and shit. And he somehow gets involved in this maybe murder plot / maybe not murder plot.
The guy from The Office?
In West Texas, where he gets a call one day and some dude's like, oh, so-and-so died and she was in love with you and she was your girlfriend. And he's thinking like, well, we hooked up a few times, but she wasn't my girlfriend. But he feels bad and he's trying to build like a podcast or something. So he goes down there and the brother of the dead girl is like, no, I think she was murdered. She didn't OD or whatever, right? And so he's trying to take advantage of the situation to try and like make a podcast, like a murder mystery podcast or something like that. So I won't spoil it. That's just the premise, and it was actually really good. I thought it was really good. It was a fun movie that gets dark at times, but it's also got a lot of humor in it. And part of the humor is like it's a dude from New York who's never been to Texas before, and of course he goes to like fucking 5 miles outside of Abilene, Texas, in the middle of this little fucking town in the middle of nowhere and shit. And if you're from Texas, there's excessive use of Whataburger in this show.
Hey man, I gotta knock down Whataburger a bit. So
well, it's better than In-N-Out. So I mean,
yeah, but it has gone down in quality since they fucking
that's what I heard.
Texas.
They heard the guys who got bought out.
Here's the thing, though, but it depends on what location you go to.
I was in Austin. I was in San Antonio. So
yeah, I the ones down here are fine, but I have been to ones like when I took a road trip going to Tulsa. There was a couple that I went. Well, one there on the way there, and one on the way back that were horrible. But all the ones down here are fine. Well, granted, there's only like 2 of them that I go to down here. The 2 that are closest to my house, and they're fucking just as good as they've always been. So I don't know what the deal is. I have no idea. But
so does he go to a Buc-ee's?
No, because he's in the middle of nowhere where there are.
Oh wow.
He's like legitimately in like some middle of nowhere West Texas town, is where this movie takes place.
Ironically, that's the one I did like was Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is awesome.
Yeah, funny. I got the little plushy thing right here, right next to me.
Yeah. Oh, did you try one of the pulled pork sandwiches or one of their barbecue sandwiches?
Of course. Why not?
Oh.
Why would I not have that?
Exactly. It's fucking delicious, man. But yeah,
I mean, over here where I'm at, I cook brisket, but it's funny because you come out here, it's like I don't really know a good barbecue spot out here. Really don't. And it's like something I have often here because I grew up more in the Southern S-type family home, so most people don't have barbecue out here up in Dillon and LA and stuff.
Yeah. Barbecue's awesome. But anyway, Vengeance was a good movie, and if you get a chance, like I said, I can't remember if it's on Hulu or
it's in theaters.
Is it in theaters?
Yep.
Well, it also is on the website that I go check out. So, which is
it a good quality, or is it a cam?
No, it's HD. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you'll find some good stuff in the pirate seas.
But yeah, no, it's a good movie. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to watch it, you should check it out. And then the only other thing I had to mention in this chat was Westworld season 4. Finished up. I watched the whole thing. Did anybody even know this show came out?
Nope.
Westworld?
I've heard nobody talking about it. Now
I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I hear it's gotten into a completely different show after that.
Well, but yeah, I mean, if you watch the first 2 seasons, I mean, you know what happened at the end of season 2. Like,
yes,
Westworld is gone. Like, but the story of the hosts and humans and all that continues on. but it just doesn't take place in Westworld anymore because Westworld's fucking gone.
Right.
But
yeah, I interest after season
so
2. So.
season 4 came out, and I won't go into a lot of stuff, but the show is fucking over. Like I don't see any way that the show can go on. And the way they ended the final episode, like they certainly ended it like it was over, and the situation in the final episode certainly I don't see how you come back from that. So, but I will throw it out there. If you've watched the other seasons, it is worth watching. It's not bad or anything, but certainly if you only watch the first 2 seasons, you'd have to watch season 3 to know what the fuck is going on in season 4. Because again, at the end of season 3 or end of season 2, Westworld is gone. Like it doesn't exist anymore. So the last 2 seasons take place in the quote unquote real world. You know what I mean? Where humans are. But it's still kind of that struggle between hosts and humans and, you know, all that stuff. And all the characters are still around. Oh, most of them are. It's still a good show, and it ended good. I thought it was well done. I will say, though, I mean, the show was definitely better when the first 2 seasons were better than the second 2 seasons. It was better when it took place in Westworld. I still enjoyed season 3 and 4. You know, I still thought it was well done. It was still a well-written, well-acted show. It still had good pacing. It was, you know, it was still a good show. It just wasn't as good as it was in the early seasons. So is it worth watching? I mean, I think so. If you liked the show and you want to see how it fucking ends, then yeah, it's worth watching. You know, but other than that, I mean, you know, the hook of the original Westworld was, you know, fucking Westworld, and that's not been around for 2 seasons. So, you know, I get why some people will be like, I don't want to watch it anymore. That's fine. You know, whatever. But I finished it. It was good. I enjoyed it. You know, I thought it was a fitting ending for everything for the show. But yeah, so it's over. So there you go. It's over, guys. It's done. If you want to watch it, cool. If you don't,
man.
yeah, game over, man. So take that for what you will, but it's over. It's done. There you go. Walk away. Other than that, does anybody else have anything they want to talk about tonight? Any other geek topics?
No,
Nothing. Just
I'm pretty much spent. We did everything we needed to talk.
I feel
about.
like we did. I feel like
we
we
did.
did.
It was quality though.
We touched on a lot of shit.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Andor is coming up, so that's cool. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, we got what? That's September. Fuck, I can't remember the date.
20
First year. Oh, 20. Oh, it's late.
Yeah, it's late September.
Oh shit.
I think like 21st.
Oh shit. Okay, so then we still got a month then.
They want to get She-Hulk.
Yeah, they're not doing another Obi-Wan Miss Marvel thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, well, yeah, that makes sense because they're also going to be competing with House of the Dragon and the new Lord of the Rings show. Because those are all.
When do we get more Mandalorian?
Probably not until like October or December, somewhere. In there.
I think it's January. Is it not?
Oh, they're pushing it back that far.
Okay, because they have. So
it usually comes out like
She-Hulk.
No, Andor is going to be like 10 episodes or something. So I guarantee.
Oh, that'll run through the end of the year then.
Yeah, it's going through the end of the year.
Next year. They're not going to jump.
Or at least still to December, and they won't do anything with like 3 weeks left in the year.
Nah, they aren't going to come back right after that. So okay, well, you know, whatever. Andor, the trailers look good. So
I'm gonna laugh if it ends up being the best show so far because none of us cared about it when it was first announced.
That's what it's gonna be. I'm calling it now. This, just by the way it looks, it's even shot better. I got problems with Boba Fett. How does Boba Fett not look as cool as this one?
Well, because this one they're not using the giant like screen thing.
Rancor.
Yeah. Oh, you mean where you shoot everything on a backdrop like Revenge of the Sith and make me not care about it? You mean that?
Exactly.
Where it's all CGI?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You don't say that.
They're actually going on location.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
That
Hey, as long as it's better than Obi-Wan. That show was boring.
I
Smash
liked
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
us.
I mean, granted, I thought there were, it had issues, but
Obi-Wan.
I
could have
enjoyed
been a
Obi-Wan
movie.
better than I enjoyed Boba Fett.
I don't know. Boba Fett was fine. I like the Mandalorian parts of it. That's basically the only parts I
That's the
cared
thing.
about.
That's the thing.
Boba Fett was Mandalorian season 2.5 is what it was.
Yep.
I mean, that's essentially what it was. Let's be honest here, which is fine. I mean, that's good. And those episodes, those last 3 episodes, I think, were fucking fantastic. But the
Yep.
ones leading up to it were like, whatever. I didn't, it's fine. It's fine.
And I enjoyed seeing Luke being more of a dick, with Grogu.
Yeah,
Luke is such a freaking dick.
he is a dick. Yeah. Oh fuck. Well, I guess
right,
we'll get that
that's
soon. I think that does it today, guys.
Cool.
We've done it. We're in at under 2 hours today. I think we covered all the topics that we needed to cover today for the Geek Chat. Yeah, I think I know what I'm getting Duke for Christmas now.
What are you getting Duke for Christmas?
A rubber alien.
No, I'm telling you, don't you ever think you're gonna do that.
No, we're getting.
I guarantee you,
we're
I'm
getting
gonna
Duke a
find.
face hugger plushie for
I'm
for
gonna
Christmas.
find somebody. There is some actor in Michigan that I can pay to like pretend to be an alien.
Dust.
Who will record it while he chases you while you're jogging early in the morning.
Oh, that would be.
Have him come out of the fucking cornfield.
Yeah, come out of the cornfield.
I'm carrying in
That
my fanny pack.
would
I'm
be
carrying in my little
hilarious.
fanny pack, homie. I don't. I
Whoa,
do not wanna
Duke,
shoot
Duke,
you,
Duke, Duke. Did you just admit to having a fanny pack?
How do you
I
carry when
think
you
he
run?
did.
How do you carry when you run?
I don't run.
Okay. I carry a gun in my fanny pack.
Got that James Reed carry.
Just saying.
Anyway,
I don't carry it on my belly. I mean, I carry it like a side. You know what I mean? Like a satchel.
I had a coworker that always carry stuff on his fanny
we
pack.
both know that's a fanny pack. You know that the Deadpool 2 when he keeps yelling at Cable because Cable's got that. He's got a fanny pack, but it's like across his chest, like a satchel.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you know that's a fanny pack, and he's like, it's a satchel. It's a fanny pack.
It's a tactical merce.
I mean, to be fair, I think a fanny pack probably be good to use if you going hiking or you're doing a lot of workout.
Yeah. I would, but I would
way
be
to carry it.
wearing it like Cable does, like a fucking satchel. I wouldn't be wearing like
carry it.
Oh, you mean like a cross? You mean like a cross?
like
chest?
across your chest, and then you have the pocket down at your side.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a way to hook the gun where you can, that way you're grabbing the handles that are not the whole, barrel side.
Right.
Yeah,
The easiest
exactly.
solution is you just wear like a loose shirt and go over it, but keep it at your waist.
What?
Ah.
So I can look like some
Sure.
freak?
And
No, it looks like
running with that fanny pack.
Just, no,
I-
here's what you
like a
do
freak.
when you're running. You just John McClane it to your back with some fucking duct tape,
There you go.
and if you need it, you just rip it off your.
As I look like Fred Flintstone running down the street. They're like, oh, look, it's Fred Flintstone. He's
What's that
dying.
duct tape showing from under his collar? Oh, I don't know. Don't
dying.
worry about it.
that's a surprise tool that will help us later.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
All right, it was been fun.
Yes, we're gonna get out of here, guys. We'll see you guys for the Geek Chat next week. Otherwise, we'll be back on Monday. We'll get the Free for All Chat on Monday. Actually, it's not gonna be called the Free for All Chat anymore, starting on Monday. But you'll see. You'll see. So we will do that on Monday. So we'll see you guys next time. I don't know if Honda's doing a chat tonight. I haven't heard from Honda, so we'll see if he's doing one. But we might see you later then, or tomorrow night if he's doing his Gay Frog Chat. And then that's it. That's it, guys. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later. Have fun. Deuces, yo, all that good stuff that we normally say on the one channel. And we're broadcasting on both, so I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff. So we'll see you guys next time. Have fun. Peace,
Later,
guys.
everybody.
See